Hi guys, I am back. I've been thinking about some things that you guys may have questions to, and so here I am to give you the answers. So I have a feeling this is a question, but I haven't gotten any, but I feel like this is a question. What do I do when my pain is like too much for we can handle at home? Like, what do I do? So when my pain becomes unbearable and we can't do anything at my house to treat it with, we end up going to the ER. 9 out of 10 times, doctors are fighting over my case because, well, I'm an ADPKD patient. Well, I'm a teenage girl presenting with ADPKD, and ADPKD in females, well, scratch the female part, but ADPKD in children, especially like myself at 14, it was not very common. So doctors want to fight on my case so that they can get this once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, literally, it's super rare unless you're a nephrologist, which then you may see quite a few PKD patients. But once I get to the ER, they give me, they do an ultrasound to make sure everything's okay. They do the normal, like, weight, height check, blood pressure, finger thingy, whatever that is for, check. And then they take me to a room. At that time, I get, like, two different doctors, a few different nurses checking in on me. I get some medication that the only hospital can give me, and then they send me on my way. So that's that part. I'm feeling this would be another question too. What do you do when you're with your pain at school? Like, what do you do there? So at school, I always talk to my teachers before like class starts, or before like the class starts. So I'll email them or message them through my school email account, and I will tell them, hey, I have ADPKD, and at times, blah 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 blah. I'll basically tell them what can happen and what I do when my pain gets too high, or when I have to leave for doctor's appointments, not be there for doctor's appointments, and not be there at all because my pain is so high. And I have to have like a special thing in place for schoolwork and everything so I don't get points set back on it because it's most likely I'm missing assignments due to pain. Alright, what other questions I think you guys have? Okay, let's talk about other doctors. So, actually this one is coming up to my mind that somebody may have out there, but doesn't want to ask it. What do you do when you go to a different doctor, say like dentist, and then you just prescribe you some pain medication, but then yeah. So, when I go to like the dentist and everything, I usually tell them straight off the bat, I have polycystic kidney disease, so I have to be careful what I can put in my mouth or put in my body in general. But recently, I had a root canal done. I know, a root canal. And my dentist, he prescribed me some high-dose ibuprofen. And luckily, my mom was there. And I was going to say something too, because I'm like, I have polycystic kidney disease. I don't think that's safe. Like, that's what I was thinking. And my mom was like, she can't take that. She kind of has polycystic kidney disease. And he was super nice about it. He just went back and wrote me a new prescription just for the antibiotics part. So he wasn't like any other doctors I've had in the past being like, why didn't you tell me this sooner? Like, why didn't... So he wasn't like really mean about it. He was actually pretty nice, and we kind of laughed about it too. Alright, I feel like this is another question that some may have, like, what do I do about my physical activity? Like PE back in 8th grade and what I do now in high school. So back in junior high and elementary school, for PE, I would be very careful. If I knew my pain was too high that day, I would be careful not to overdo it, because if I overdo it, which is basically doing too much, which is what I call overdoing it, I would sit out for a little bit, or I would be taking it very careful, because back then, I didn't want to overdo it at all. Now, for 7th and 8th grade, it's totally different from elementary school, as you may imagine. And so for that, if I was having a bad pain day or anything, I would tell my teacher that, hey, I'm having a bad pain day, and so I'm not able to run today. And so then my teacher said in 7th grade was really nice, and she's like, oh yeah, you can just sit out for now, you can record this or watch these people. And that's what I sat out, and at times I was super mad because my kinesis was stopping me from doing something I wanted to do, but I also got told I can't do this. Okay, for 8th grade though, that was a different story, because the teacher I had, he's kind of a family friend and everything, and so he knew if I didn't do something correctly, or if I didn't listen to what the doctors were saying, I was going to get, one of us was going to get talked to by my parent. And so yeah, he was very kind of strict with me at times. I would email him before class and, hey, this is what happened with me today. And sometimes after like we did a half mile or mile run, he'd be like, sit now, go sit over there in the shade. Like, and I wouldn't. I was being so stubborn back then too. I'm like, no, I don't want to go sit. But he's like, go sit now. And so that happened. But I'm very active, and I want to do what the other kids are doing, because I don't want people to figure out back then I didn't want people to find out what I had. And even in the beginning of my 9th grade year, I didn't want people to figure out what was with, like, why I wasn't doing anything, or why this was different for me. And for 9th grade, I luckily made my local high school's volleyball program. And so for that, I had very understanding teachers, coaches. Partly because the head coach of the volleyball program that I'm in, she actually knows my uncle, and my uncle knows about my condition, and so I kind of have a little people back me up there. So it's really nice of them. I can just say, hey, this is bugging me, and then yeah. So that was that. What else do I feel like I just have questions about? Like, I have my cell phone here, but like no one asks questions, so. What else? Oh yeah, what do I do about, what was I just thinking? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna edit this because I hate editing, like, I hate it, so. I was just thinking something. Oh, so yeah, here's some, like, funny things also that I kind of remember now. So, a couple of days, like a week ago or so at volleyball practice, there's this person named Sam, and she was like, I've been having back pain for like past week or months or something. And then I say, I've been having constant back pain for the past 4 years. And my friend Ruby, she was like, well, basically everyone there was like, you said that very, like, happily. I'm like, well, I have a kidney thing, so, and they're like, it's really fun to make jokes about for me at least, it's fun to make jokes about it, because sometimes the only way to get through it, and the only way to cope with the condition, is to make jokes about it. What's another thing? What else have I joked about with my condition? Oh, so before this root canal, another root canal, like, up here. And so this person I know, she's part of my youth group and everything, she's like, you're too young to have a root canal. And so I come back with, I'm also too young to have an adult condition. I mean, to me, this is funny. If it's not funny to you, I'm sorry. Or if you have your own medical condition, this is going to be funny for you too. So, I actually have some memes right here on my phone that I downloaded, I got from the internet. It's like chronic illness memes. So, you can't read that, I'm sorry. But it says, me explains what chronic illness is. Healthy person, forever. I mean, that's kind of funny to me. And then there's this one. I'll just read them. The next couple are going to be like this one, so yeah. That stupid moment when you have your pill bottle in front of you, but you can't remember if you already took it or not. This actually happens to me very often. Like, I'm on a medication, and it's basically like rewiring my brain for pain. And so I'm like, I'll be walking around the house, I'm like, did I take my medication? And it's super confusing for me. Next one here. You don't look that sick. You don't look that stupid. My looks can be deceiving. See, there are some people here, like people that I've met in the past, when I come like, yeah, I have ADPKD. And I'm like, oh, it's a kidney condition, and it makes me sick at times. I mean, technically, I am, like, have a condition that makes me sick. It's great. And I'm, like, thinking about it, like, are you that stupid? Not all illnesses make you look sick or anything. Here's this one. This one says, oh, my cousin's friend's sister's girlfriend used to have that. She had magic healing moon fossils implanted under her skin, and now she's fine. You should ask your doctor about that. See, for that, it's very experimental, and my doctors, like, someone told me that. I'm like, well, it's very experimental and will fully work, and they don't know the reactions that we will have in our body. And these are chronic illness memes, so yeah. And then here's this one. This is, how am I? That depends. Do you want me to lie so you feel more comfortable? I mean, I feel like when people are talking, like, how are you feeling today? I'm like, meh. It's kind of my way, so I'm like, I feel normal, but I'm also not doing that good. And I actually do question this sometimes when people I don't really know that well. Like, how are you doing? I'm thinking in my head, do you want me to lie to you? Do you want me to be, yeah, I'm doing fine. There's like nothing else going on with my life. So yeah, I really understand that meme. There's this one. You can't have that condition. You're too young. If only it had asked for an ID. That's actually really funny because a lot of people have said that, and it kind of goes with the thing I said earlier about like the person and everything. I mean, I am too young to have this condition. Well, I'm supposed to be too young, but not many people with ADPKD are around my age, or basically like me. And it's all because of a genetic mutation. So yeah. And here's the last one, I believe. Yeah, it's the last one. Morning, tired. Afternoon, dying for rest. Night, can't sleep. I experience this so much. Like, my chronic fatigue is so bad. I'm sorry, I'm gonna look at something. But, like, my chronic fatigue is so bad that I'm, like, super tired throughout the day. And then, like, when I'm trying to sleep, I can't sleep because everything's distracting. And it's, like, super... I don't like it. I mean, because half the days, like, half the time I'm super tired. I'm like, oh, I'm super tired today. And, like, I can barely keep my eyes awake in class. And then comes, like, 8 o'clock rolls around. Oh, no, I can't sleep. And, like, all I wanted to do all day was sleep. Which is super, yeah. That's life. Okay. But, what other things should I talk about? Oh, here's another meme. It's kind of different. I found it online. It says, feeling pretty good right now. Well, that was fun. I mean, that's kind of how it is at times. Like, it's like 1 minute you're fine, and you're feeling really good about what you're doing right now. And a few seconds later, or a few minutes later, you feel like crap. You feel like you're just on like a high slope of a mountain going down a bike, and then you crash into a fence. Like, sometimes that's how I feel. Here's another one that I feel like some other chronic illness people feel like. So this photo here, it says what waking up looks like, and here, what it feels like, and she's basically like climbing a mountain. I mean, so that is true. Like, I feel that way sometimes also. And it's kind of sad though, because, I mean, it's something we do on a daily basis. We have to live our normal life. And if we don't want to share about our illness and what makes us different from others, it can be hard to hide it some days, because days we feel like total crap. I know I said like crap a lot, like total crap, but it's true. And we use these things that we can't really explain. Doctors like, well, what's your pain feel like? And sometimes it's really hard to tell them what it feels like because we don't know how to explain it ourselves. Here's another one. This top part says, everyone, how do we survive without being able to go outside? And then this part, it says, me with a chronic illness, let me show you how it's done. I mean, right now, like during COVID and everything, it's those with chronic illnesses that can really who can be really effective, want to do something, or well, during this pandemic, we have to be much more careful about if we get sick. We need to be careful than others. We have to make sure we are following all guidelines, making sure that we're doing everything in our power so that we don't get coronavirus or COVID-19. Because if we do get COVID-19, it can make our condition worse, so much so that we will need a transplant with that organ, or it will progress it so much so that it's bad. And so that's one thing like I'm really worried about with the pandemic, but it's also getting better because we're so close on getting all the vaccines out to people. And we are close to getting those 12 to 15 vaccinated. So, yeah. And here's this one I found. It says something, I'm just going down from here and here. So, something, I should do something. I should do something. I should do something. I should do something. And it's just going down like that. I mean, that's how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I have to do something. I have to get, like, out of bed. I have to get up from here. But I can't because I'm too emotionally and physically tired. Oh, this is funny. I get this one quite, well, I'm sorry, that's too bright. I get this one quite often. It says, when someone says they know the cure to your uncurable disease, we're like, no, you don't. If they knew the cure, then doctors would know the cure. And nobody wants the chronic, well, not most people want their chronic illness. Nobody wants to deal with this constant pain and chronic symptoms you have from your chronic illness. It's really sucky. Oh, here's another one. Just like that. And my dog was like smiling right now, so yeah. What do you mean your pain is an 8 every day? No one could live like that. I guess you're starting to see my problem. I mean, yeah, I've had those days or weeks where I'm like, okay, what's your pain? I'm like, 8. How are you feeling today? Oh, well, it's an 8. Like, what is it? Oh, yeah, or it's like, oh, doctor's like, how's your pain doing? I'm like, 8. Friends, how's your pain doing today? 8. And my husband says, your pain's done an 8? How do you live like that? Like, how does everyone live like that? It's, for us, it's a constant thing in our daily thing. We have to deal with pain, and it's sad. Oh, here's another funny one. It says, Doc, when did your symptoms begin? Me, 15 years ago. I mean, we kind of have to be very, like, say, oh yeah, back then, this, like, 4 years ago, I started having this thing, and this, and this, and this, and 3 years ago, this, and this, and this. We kind of really have to be on it on our symptoms to know what's wrong with us, or be able to tell the doctors that what's going on in our bodies, so that the doctors can easily diagnose us, or give them more on diagnosis that we will need to help us. Okay, so this is kind of funny. It says, please list all medical conditions, allergies, and known medical problems. No, medications, sorry. All medications, allergies, and known medical problems. Attaches a 5-page list. I mean, that's kind of true. I mean, when you're living with a chronic illness and you're going to a new doctor and everything, and they don't have your chart, you have to basically get everything you have on your condition and give it to the doctor, because they don't know your past really. They don't know what you've gone through, and so you're like, well, I was on this medication for X amount of time. I'm on this medication now since this time. Oh yeah, and I was diagnosed with PKD in like June of 2017. Not 2017, but yeah, it's something like that. Well, we have to tell them exactly when we were diagnosed with something, when this happened, or give them this information from the doctors, because the only way they can treat us is if they know our medical, like, past. Oh, this is also hungry. I mean, funny. Sorry, it says hungry in it, so yeah. Everything's sore and I'm probably going to die. Also, I'm hungry. The most likely title of my autobiography. I mean, I understand this. Like, this can be the rest of the memes, but I understand that so much. I mean, it's like, you're so sore, depending on if your condition is like physical pain or anything. Like, for me, I have constant back pain, and so like my back can be very stiff compared to other places on my body. Say, like right here starting, it's not as stiff. Well, no, that's a lie. So like right here starting, it's not as stiff as my back is. And your body tightens up when it's in pain. So like here, I also have a lot of tension over here. And so, yeah. And then my back, it feels like a rock. Like, you can't even like push down where you need to push down, like where doctors would. Because it's like that stiff. So yeah. That's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, please message me at layton.public on Instagram, and I will be able to answer your questions there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.